The Hell Cornfield. I'd like to say that we stumbled into this nightmare by accident, but that would be a lie. We were invited. It was a Friday evening, and it all started with an email. An anonymous message sent to all 5 of us. Me, Clara, Marcus, Ben, and Olivia. No subject line, just a simple link. We should have known better than to click it, but curiosity got the best of us. The email promised an exclusive Halloween corn maze event, one that no one else knew about. A challenge of fear, it said, where only the bravest would make it out. "Do you dare?" the final line read. Of course we dared. The location was in the middle of nowhere. An old farm just outside the city, far enough that cell service was spotty at best. We arrived around dusk, the sun already sinking below the horizon, casting long shadows over the endless rows of corn. There were no other cars, no signs of life except for an old wooden sign that read, "The Maze." That should have been our first warning. There were no signs, no staff, just the entrance to the cornfield, drawing us in. Clara, always fearless, smirked. "What's the worst that could happen?" And led us inside. Right away, the maze felt off, with paths twisting endlessly. As night fell, the towering corn blocked out the sky. At first, we laughed, joked, and shoved each other into the stalks. But after an hour, the fun vanished. That's when the horrors began. It started with Ben. He was walking a little ahead of us when suddenly he stopped dead in his tracks. He didn't say anything, just stared straight ahead. I thought he was playing some kind of prank, but when I called his name, he didn't respond. He stood there, frozen, like something had paralyzed him. Then, out of nowhere, he screamed. I've never heard a sound like that come out of someone before. It wasn't fear. It was pure animalistic terror. He turned and bolted back into the corn, disappearing before we could stop him. We ran after him, shouting his name, but the stalks closed in around us like a cage, the maze twisting in ways it shouldn't have been able to. We never saw Ben again. After that, everything changed. The air in the maze became thick, like breathing through a wet cloth, and strange noises started coming from the corn. Rustling that wasn't the wind, whispers that seemed to echo from all directions. Shadows darted between the rows, too fast to be anything human, but too large to be animals. The deeper we went, the more we realized something was terribly wrong. One by one, we started seeing things that couldn't be real. Clara was next. She swore she saw a figure standing in the distance, a man with no face, just standing there, watching us. She panicked, ran toward it thinking it was a way out. By the time we caught up to her, she was gone too. Then came Marcus. His was the worst. He was standing beside me when he started mumbling, talking about something crawling inside his skin. He began clawing at his arms, tearing at his flesh until blood poured down, staining the corn. We tried to stop him, but whatever he was seeing, it was too much. He ran into the darkness, screaming that they were inside him, trying to pull them out. We never found him either. By now, it was just me and Olivia, and we were barely holding it together. The whispers were louder and the shadows seemed closer, watching us, mocking us. We stumbled through the maze, desperately searching for an exit, but every turn led us deeper, the paths shifting in impossible ways. That's when we saw it. The exit. A single light in the distance, glowing faintly at the edge of the maze. We ran for it, hearts pounding in our chests. But as we got closer, we realized something was wrong. The light wasn't an exit at all. It was a doorway, a glowing red entrance into something far darker. Hell. We froze, staring at it. Behind us, the whispers grew louder, the shadows creeping closer. We didn't have a choice. Either face whatever horrors waited in the maze or step into the unknown. Olivia made the choice for us. "I'll stay," she said, her voice barely a whisper. "Go, someone has to get out." I tried to argue, but she shook her head. "There's no other way. It wants a sacrifice." And with that, she turned and ran into the darkness, leaving me standing at the edge of the doorway. I took a deep breath, stepped forward, and fell into the light. I don't know how I made it out, or why it let me go, but I'll never forget the last thing I heard before I blacked out. The sound of Olivia screaming, echoing through the maze, followed by a sickening silence. When I woke up, I was lying in a hospital bed. The police said they found me unconscious on the side of the road, miles from the cornfield. They never found the others. They didn't believe my story, said the maze didn't exist. But I know the truth. And I know it's still out there, waiting for the next group of fools to accept its invitation.